Manny Machado AP We're back there again. It was a blissful stretch, really, a good 20 years when the economics of baseball could only annoy you if you wanted them to, when you could close off your mind to the billionaire owners and the millionaire players and simply enjoy the sport again, if you were so inclined. It was a nice run. It really was. And it's as dead as disco now. Because every day there is some new warning flare shot high into baseball's sky, and they aren't the kind of arguments we've been filling our days with these past couple of decades. Replay, steroids, pace of play, the DH, pitchers who don't finish games, hitters who don't care about striking out, the war over war, all of these, and more. Now, of course, we have daily updates and non-updates on both Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, both seeking contracts north of $300 million, neither presently earning 50 cents. Now, on one day we have Justin Verlander, who will earn $28 million this year, railing against the stagnant free agent market, and on another we have Jacob deGrom, who will earn $17 million this year, admitting he'll have to consult with his agent about the possibility of limiting his innings if he doesn't have an extension in hand, and we have Adam Wainwright, who will earn but $2 million this year after taking home $19 million last year for 40 innings of work, hinting that baseball players might stage a walkout this summer to protest all the rank-and-file free agents. Here's the thing, in a vacuum, it shouldn't matter what those guys are being paid, or what they're not being paid. In a vacuum, we all answer to bosses, and we are all underpaid in our minds, and we would consider it an unquestioned violation of our rights as workers if all the bosses in our chosen fields got together and put artificial limits on what we could earn. In a vacuum, it's even possible most would agree with them. But we don't live in a vacuum. We live in a world where, even after 42 years of free agency, we are still stunned by what baseball players do get paid, and are utterly unmoved what they don't get paid. And so slowly, ever so slowly, baseball's public image is recalibrating to where it was in 1972, in 1981, in 1985, in 1994, whenever the owners and the players have started spoiling for a fight. And that means that a lot of working folks, often acting against every impulse and instinct they own, begin to feel empathy for the owners, begin to sneer darkly at the players. It has happened every time, going back to the first strike in '72. The players are the bums. The owners are the victims. Maybe it isn't quite as one-sided as it used to be, but the more fans you talk to, the more you realize the owners still carry the day in the court of public opinion. It informs everything about the relationship between the owners and the union. For crying out loud, there may never have been a less effective commissioner in any sport than Bowie Kuhn, who made Roger Goodell look like Pete Rozelle, and this summer will mark his 11th anniversary inside the Hall of Fame. Yet Marvin Miller, who used to make Kuhn look like an ambulance chaser every time they sat at the same bargaining table, has yet to come close to induction. And look, it is never going to be easy for players to gain widespread empathy, nor should fans be expected to offer it. Not at those salaries. Not at these prices. You can believe, as I do, that baseball players absolutely should fight for every nickel they can in an industry that reached $10 billion in revenue last year built entirely on their backs. Doesn't mean they'll ever win over the people who fork over half a week's pay if they want a day at the ballgame with the works with their family. This day was inevitable. It always was. It always will be. We had a nice run fretting about Rob the Fixer, Manfred planting a man on second base in extra innings. Soon enough, odds are we'll wonder where any of the players are. Unless we're looking at a picket line. Facts wax DJ. LeMahieu. Of all the New York baseball acquisitions so far, the one I most look forward to watching every day is DJ LeMahieu. I feel about Matt Kuchar the same way I'd look at someone who tipped $2 on a $100 dinner, not ready to write him off as a bad guy, but not off to a great start in the is he a good guy or not game. There has yet to be a case of the winter blues that cannot be solved by simply ordering a plate of Stretch's Chicken Savoy at the Belmont Tavern on Bloomfield Avenue in Belleville, over in Jersey. Trust me on that. I've been quiet about the good guys this winter, giving you a break, but you should know that Mark Schmidt, above, goes for St. Bonaventure's all-time coaching victory record Sunday when the Bonnies take on George Mason, led by the great Otis Livingston's son, Otis Jr., at Old Riley Center. Plan your rooting interests accordingly. Whack back at back Richard Siegelman. I am confident the current Knicks team, despite its 11-47 record, could still sweep the 9-73 Philadelphia 76ers team from 1970-73 in a 7-game series, especially since all of its players are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Fact: watch out for Kevin Lowry, though, who still has that sneaky quick J. David Fizdale, Corey Sipkin, Howard Siegel. Another Post article quotes David Fizdale as saying, "I like where we are. I think the Rosenbergs said this just as the warden pulled the switch." Fact: quoting the cook in The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, "Fellas, it's been good to know ya." At the Ricaras, in regards to Jacob deGrom, "Haven't we heard this? Don't be cheap. Pay him what he wants. It's a no-brainer. Outcry before. Right. Cespedes. Harvey. Just sayin'." At Mike Vick. For now and for the foreseeable future, the biggest issue with the Mets is so few of their fans trust the owner's motivations, even when, as in this case, it seems they are merely being prudent, not pernicious. Gerard Briggs. When it comes to Kyler Murray, we are forgetting that it's the kid's life. He loves playing football more than baseball. When someone loves what they do, then the prospect of injuries isn't a concern. The kid is not making his decision based on money, which I find very refreshing. Fact: I really do hope he stays injury-free and builds a wonderful case that undersized QBs can be successful in the NFL. But if he's just as good a baseball player, I'll always have a lingering, what if?